we're going to spoil it.
Yes.
So if you've not seen it, turn away, come back later, because we're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna spoil everything. We're gonna talk about what happens to the plot. We're gonna talk about things we liked and things we didn't like. So please, I don't want to be the one that ruins it for you. So and if you don't care, then fuck off and watch it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you've been warned. Here, I've made this little graphic for you. This is spoilers. So you can't come at me now because I've warned you like 6 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's talk about it.
Chapter 21, or Season 3, Episode 5, The Pirate, opens on Navarro, where Grief Karga is in his office doing some like civic planning with his engineers and stuff, talking about, actually we should move the trade area near the spaceport because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You fucking idiots. How did you not think of that?
When out of nowhere, there's some screaming coming from outside.
Which is never good.
No. So he goes out to the balcony and looks up, and there's, this giant fucking pirate ship overhead.
Yeah. A Corsair class.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah.
His droid comes in and says, hey, you got a fucking phone call from the pirates.
Get your cape droids. We have work to do.
So fucking Grief Karga picks up the phone, and who is it but fucking Leafbeard himself, Gorian Shar.
Okay. So real quick, I really made myself laugh. I cracked myself up quite a bit. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking today, I was like, why does this Pirate King look so goofy to me? And it's not something like I don't hate it. Like it's fine. And the guy that does his voice is a really famous actor that I really like. He's in a show called Sweet Tooth, but and Game of Thrones. He's in Game of Thrones as well. For some reason, he reminds me. He looks like he is made of the fake grass that you put in Easter egg baskets. And once I thought of it like that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It's like the Pirate King Easter basket. Yeah. it kind of made me laugh.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So Gorian Shar is like, holy shit, Grief Karga. You used to be the fucking boss of the bounty hunters, and now you're just yet another fat nobleman.
Yeah. You have cape droids.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What's up with that? Grief is like, well, look, I might be respectable now, but I'll still kill a bitch.
Yeah.
And Gorian's like, yeah, I know, because you killed my guys, and now I'm going to kill all of your people.
Yeah. Which he says you gun the one guy down in cold blood. Did not happen.
They gunned down like 5 guys.
Yeah, but it was not in cold blood. The one guy drew first, and then Grief Karga drew last, and ended the fight. So,
but do you really think it matters to Gorian?
No, he's just looking for these guys get bored, so they go and pick a fight with somebody.
Grief Karga is like,
he's just sitting in an Easter basket the whole fucking time. Like, what is he gonna do?
Grief Karga is like, are you sure you want to pick a fight with the New Republic? And Gorian's like, motherfucker, you are independent. Yeah. You can't go crying to the Republic. You can't go crying to Moff Gideon. Like, there's no one here to help you. Also, it's just you.
Let me tell you, the New Republic doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So don't even go there.
Grief says, all right, yeah, but the Spinward Patrol comes by every now and then. And Gorian is like, you dumb motherfucker. The Republic hasn't done shit about pirates. Yeah. Like, I'm the fucking pirate king. You really think I can just say that? And
even at the height of the old Republic, there were fucking slaves out here. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, look, you're not about to bluff me off of this. I know you got nothing. I'm going to start blowing your shit up now. And the only call of yours I'm going to take is when you say I give up. He hangs up and starts blowing up the city.
Yeah.
And Grief is like, well,
man of his word.
Yeah.
I mean, he fucking did it.
Grief is like, well, shit, I guess we got to get out of here. If I can get all the civilians out, let's get the hell out of here. Mm-hmm. And that's when the title comes up.
Boom.
So we jump to a tropical planet.
Have they always done cold opens like this? Or is that just that season 3 thing?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I just I like the cold open format because it kind of like throws you right in.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we go to this tropical planet that has some pretty rock music soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
There's this New Republic fighter base, like a just airstrip and some hangars and shit set up. In the bar, there's all the typical Top Gun shit going on, like the shooting pool and drinking. Mm-hmm. Our old friend, the pilot Carson Teva, gets a fucking telegram from the bartender who says, hey, this message came for you. It's Grief Karga calling for help, saying, hey, look, all my shit's getting blown up. Can you come help?
They killed my cape droids. I don't know what to do. Which, by the way, this whole thing, like the Top Gun thing, is a really good reference there. Actually, I noticed that the New Republic soldiers it's very diverse. Mm-hmm. Like, there's like one 75-year-old woman hanging out in a flight suit, which is like, I mean, shit.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. And then I thought it was really funny that the technology that he uses, like, it's so fucking busted and inefficient. Like, he's
that's everything in Star Wars.
I know, but it's like, he's like, well, let me pull out this fucking suitcase of a data card reader that's bigger than a fucking supercomputer.
Yeah.
And so that was pretty
Anyway.
funny.
So Teva's like, well, shit, I guess I got to call Coruscant and get some people out here. And who should be drinking next to him but our old friend from Rebels, Zeb?
Yeah.
Voiced by the inimitable Steve Bloom.
Yes.
Who's like, Coruscant hasn't been answering anybody's calls, dude. They're not going to help you.
It's kind of nice to know that this guy has something to do after Rebels, I guess. I guess he doesn't join the search for Ezra. He just joins the New Republic. And his CG wasn't bad. Yeah. Because I think his whole face was CG, obviously, right?
I think his whole everything was CG.
Yeah. And then if you guys don't if you've not watched Rebels, he's a part of the main gang. He's the wrecker.
Yes.
For Rebels, right?
Less of a 5-year-old, but fills the same physical niche.
His entire family was like killed by the Empire or something, and he has a chip on his shoulder. Same species as Cal Kestis's master in Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Coruscant's not returning anybody's calls. So Carson Teva was like, fuck it, I'll just go to Coruscant myself and knock on the door.
I love this guy's attitude.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just go over
They
there.
can't fucking ignore me if I just show up, right?
Did you also notice he has a Rancor head patch on his jacket?
Really?
I love the fucking jacket, by the way. Yeah. Like, everyone's got their flight suit on. He's like, oh, I'm going to wear a fucking jacket over this. But it's got, it's a patch with a Rancor on it.
I did not notice that.
And it was like, so is that like a Boba Fett thing? Like, is he just like buddies with Boba Fett, maybe? I don't know.
Maybe he's part of Rancor Squadron.
Tell us in the comments. Oh, also, Steven says, was that Zeb?
Yes.
Brandon says, yeah, it says in the credits.
Anyway, he gets to Coruscant and fucking walks into a New Republic office and is like, hey, here's
same office, by the way.
Colonel Tuttle.
Yeah, same office as where what's his name was working.
Dr.
Pershing.
Yeah. Oh, nice detail.
Yeah.
And by the way, who in the background is lurking but our old friend Elia Kane.
Yeah.
Tuttle is having Teva's like, all right, look, I just really need some help with Navarro. They're getting blown up by pirates. Can I get like another squadron of guys to go take care of this? Mm-hmm. And Tuttle's like, let me see that fucking telegram.
Give me that. Yeah.
Puts it on, like, shuts it off halfway through. Says, yes, that does seem terrible.
Tuttle, by the way, is played by Tim Meadows, Saturday Night Live regular. If anyone's into Saturday Night Live,
very expressive actor.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you would think that if they were getting SNL guys to do this, it would be like a comedy thing. He doesn't. He's just like a regular fucking dude.
Anyway. Elia Kane walks in and says, hey, boss, just passing through. I'm going to go get some coffee. You want any?
You might have noticed that when they're talking before she comes in, they shoot it so that you see the window behind them and you see her looking at them. Like, you see her watching and commanding and everything. Yeah.
Tuttle is like, hey, wait a minute. You were out in the Outer Rim. What the fuck do you know about Navarro? She's like, well, Navarro hasn't signed the Republic Charter, so they aren't under Republic protection. Yeah. So there's not much we can do about it. Teva just kind of glances over and sees the amnesty badge on her chest.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yes.
He's immediately like, I don't like you.
Tuttle's like, look, my office has a huge backlog of requests for help from worlds that actually are part of the Republic, so I don't really have anything to give you.
Which, by the way they're storing data, it doesn't surprise me even a little bit that they have a backlog. Yeah. Because they're using like floppy disks.
Punch cards.
Yeah, they're like these big fucking things.
I was like, all right, look, like the people of Navarro have been through a lot. They had to deal with Moff Gideon, and now there's pirates blowing the place off. And by the way, did Moff Gideon even make it to trial? Because I don't think he did.
Second time this has come up, by the way.
Tuttle's like, look, I'm just the requisitions guy. I don't talk politics. I just get people stuff. So what can I get you? Tuttle's like, all right, give me authorization and like another squadron or two of ships to go deal with Navarro.
A machine gun? Can you give me a machine gun?
That'd be nice. Elia Kane is like, look, clearly the people of Navarro need to see the advantages of New Republic membership. And if that means they get a little blown up, that's just the price of doing business. Teva's like, you're a fucking monster.
Yeah, well, he's like, you're a fucking Imperial.
Which is the same thing, really. So they're about to throw down when Tuttle's like, look.
She could probably whoop your ass, man.
Both
just
of you
break it up. Yeah.
Did you know, actually, that the actress who plays Elia Kane was in Ant-Man and the Quantumverse?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she was the martial arts alien.
I also found out, this is just tangentially related, Ming-Na Wen. Yeah. Was the voice for Mulan.
Really?
In like the old school animated Mulan.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't think she sang because they don't do that. Like they got a guy that does the voice and a guy that sings.
Person for that. Yeah. Anyway, so Tuttle's like, look, I can tell you two are about to fight. Just please don't get any blood on my carpet. I'll fucking kick your request up the chain of command and see what they can do. But like, I can't do anything myself.
Wouldn't hold your breath either.
Like Carson Teva's like, look, all this shit happening around Navarro is not a fucking coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, if the Republic just keeps sitting here waiting for things to get big enough to actually deal with it, like, Navarro's going to be gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do.
This is a great example of, first of all, regardless if you've been hoping for it or not, it is very clear that they're not retconning the sequel trilogy. And this entire show has been proof, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a really good example of that, of someone ringing the alarm bells about will eventually become the First Order. And so I thought that it's cool that we've got people early on who are like, there's something weird going on. However, his logic for this is really weird.
Yeah.
He's like, well, first there was
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, and then
now
pirates.
There's the pirate
and
king.
that means that Snoke is around, or
and
he would know that.
Connected?
But yeah, I don't think it is connected. I just think he feels weird about. He's like, there's like something weird happening out here.
So anyway, he turns around and fucks off, and as he goes, Elia Kane just kind of watches him go menacingly.
Yeah, oh my God.
She is conniving.
Yeah.
She is planning things. So back on Navarro, the refugees from the city are walking across the volcanic plains, and they're pretty wretched and miserable. They stop by this big rock to set up camp, and Grief Karga hops up on the rock and says, "People of Navarro, don't worry. I've put out the call for help.
Yeah.
Reinforcements will be here soon." And the crowd,
who's coming?
The Republic.
Oh, that's pretty much what they're
pretty
like,
much what happens. Yeah,
might as well just die, I guess.
So Carson Teva goes out to the Mandalorian covert, and he's flying around. He's like, "Oh, hey, that's Bo-Katan's ship. They're here. Let's just hop down." So he gets out of his ship.
It's a sexy ship, by the way. Bo-Katan's ship is fucking sexy.
And he like gets out, holds out his hands, like, "Hey, look, I'm just here to talk. I'm not threatening you. I'm not going to do anything bad." He's like, I'm Captain Carson Teva, the New Republic. Yeah. Just want to talk.
I'm a fucking Captain X-Wing fighter.
And Paz Vizsla comes on and says, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
We don't deal with your kind here. Mando's like, "Okay, how the fuck did you find us? Because like we're supposed to be covert.
Yeah.
It's right there in the name." And Carson Teva is like, "Yes, but one of my old comrades from the rebellion happens to be working with you.
One of my war buddies."
And all the Mandos just start looking at each other.
Which I was like, is it one of the Mandalorians? Yeah.
No, it's the fucking R5 astromech droid that
he comes out on cue. Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently R5 like fucking got around during the rebellion, which is great. There's
love that for him.
There are two, like, okay, so there's a legacy and then a canon thing with R5. The legacy thing was that R5 was force sensitive somehow. And stuff happened
and blew himself up so that R2 would go with Luke.
That's the canon explanation in From a Certain Point of View, A New Hope, which, by the way, they've announced From a Certain Point of View Return of the Jedi, which is supposed to come out when Return of the Jedi hits its 40th anniversary.
Cannot wait to hear the story from Bib Fortuna's point of view.
Right. So,
or the Kowakian monkey lizard.
I bet there's a bunch of shit in there. It's going to be great. So, From a Certain Point of View, which are all books you should read, they're really great. It's an anthology of short stories. Some of them are amazing, deep lore Star Wars stories, and some of them are just goofy as fuck, like this one, which is like after the Jawas take R2, he tells R5, he's like, "I'm on a secret mission to save the world. Mm-hmm. I need to make sure that
I need to get out of here."
Right. And so when they go to sell the droids, like they were going to split 3PO and R2 up. And so he's like, "I guess I'll blow myself up." Mm-hmm. And I guess he becomes a war hero after this. Good for you, R5. Yeah. I'm fucking proud of you, man.
Mando's like, "Well, great. Now that the Republic knows where we are, we have to leave. Thanks a fucking lot." Paz Vizsla's like, "Or we could just kill him."
Yeah.
Like, he can't tell anybody if he's dead.
Kill him and eat him. Wait, what? What?
What?
Never mind.
Mando's like, no, we're not going to kill him. You know, he helped me once, and I'm going to return the favor. You can get the fuck out of here. Teva's like, all right, look, I got this telegram from your old friend Grief Karga. He's got some serious trouble. He needs some help. And just take a look at this. Mando is like, all right, let's go talk in my office, which is further down the beach here.
Yeah.
Like, why are you really here? Teva is like, look, the Empire is getting stronger out here, and like, I want the Republic to do something about it. I'm pretty sure I can convince them, but I need proof. And I can't really get it if pirates are blowing up Navarro. Like, I need you to take down the pirates. Is like, look, I know it's not your fight. You know, you're Mandalorians. You don't really bother with anyone else. But your buddy Grief Karga is getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to do something about that.
Yeah.
He climbs up in his X-Wing with a musical cue of the March of the Resistance.
Which is cool. Every time I hear that theme, it's probably one of John Williams' best themes for Star Wars.
It's really good. He's like, all right, look, you're not going to believe me, but I'm not going to tell anyone that you're here. So like, you can stay here if you want, even though I know you're going to move because you guys are paranoid like that. But have fun with Grief Karga.
Yeah. Fuck you for saying you were going to eat me. Canopy down, flies off.
Bo-Katan asks Mando, okay, so what the fuck are you going to do? Mando's like, well, I kind of have to help him. Grief Karga is like one of 3 friends I have. And Bo-Katan's like, yeah, you're going to need a lot more help than just you to do this.
Which I thought it was funny where like Mando was like, obviously I'm going to help.
Obviously.
Yeah. Because it's fucking it's Carl Weathers. Yeah. Like, you're not going to leave Carl Weathers to die.
So Carl
Weathers wouldn't leave you to die.
Yeah. So around the bonfire that night, Mando has Armor's hammer in hand. And he's like, all right, look. I'm gonna go help Grief Karga.
It's the talking hammer. They have a system where if you talk, you got to hold the hammer.
It's like the rock, the conch shell from Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, or in Breaking Bad, the talking pillow.
Yeah,
which is it. You don't, because I haven't forced you to watch that show.
I know
yet.
what the concept is. Anyway, he's like, look, Grief Karga is good people. Like, I'm going to go help the people of Navarro. I want you to come with me. Like, when I talked to Grief Karga last, he promised me a shit ton of land where I could retire and make this big life for myself. But like, I'm going to take him up on that offer, and it's going to become our new homeland. Like, we're going to have a place where we can live out in the open. We don't have to constantly be living in caves and sewers and shit. And, you know, we can raise our kids to play in the sun and whatnot.
Which I thought was really funny because, like, they're all wearing helmets.
Yeah. So he hands the hammer back to Armor, and Armor's like, all right, who the fuck else wants to talk? Paz Vizsla takes the hammer. He's like, look,
everyone's like, oh God, here we go.
That motherfucker, Grief Karga, and the Imperials killed a shit ton of us. Why the fuck should we help? And all the Mandalorians are like, yes, he makes a good point. Fuck Grief Karga. Paz Vizsla's like, I'll tell you why the fuck we should help, because we're Mandalorians.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's not where I thought this was going.
Because Grief Karga fucking helped that green foundling with the funny ears over there. Yeah. And fucking Mando here saved my kid. And fucking Bo-Katan saved my kid. Now they're asking us to go help Grief Karga. So obviously we got to go fucking help them.
Like, also, he's like, consider also, all we've been doing is shooting at the lake. All of us are very bored.
Yes.
Let's go kill somebody, please.
They want to fight. Now I'm on board. This is the way. And everyone's like, this is the fucking way. Yeah. Let's do it. So the plan is Bo-Katan is going to drop the Mandos on the ground with their jetpacks so they can, clear out the city, while Bo-Katan and Mando are flying around, buzzing Gorian's ship and dealing with the fighters and stuff.
Real quick, Jimmy asks, wait, was that Zeb from Rebels? Yes, established.
Yes.
If the certain point of view book doesn't have a chapter titled Why, from Anakin's point of view, are the Jedi evil, I will be disappointed. They've not done the only ones they've done A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi will be next. And then Steven says the Jedi were evil. How was the Force balanced with all of those Jedi and only 2 Sith?
It wasn't like the Jedi weren't. That's the whole point. Anakin is extremely disillusioned and delusional.
Yeah. Also, George Lucas's idea of the Force being balanced isn't like 1 Sith, 1 Jedi per capita. It's no Sith.
Yes.
And only good stuff happening. Yes. So it's a whole thing.
So the pirates are just kind of going through the wreckage of the city and looting and abusing the few people who are still there and just generally having a good time. They happen to look up and see Mando and his fucking hot rod starfighter go zooming through the sky and buzz Gorian's ship. Gorian is like, fucking get the guns out, fucking launch the fighters, kill that fucker. Mando's like, So Mando's flying around and blasting him and stuff. And Grief Karga over on his rock looks over and says, you know, I know that fucking fighter. And calls up Mando's like, hey, thanks for the help, man.
Hey, buddy.
Mando's like, so that offer of all that land, that's still good.
Oh,
right?
yeah. I guess that's something like he offered in the like couple of episodes
the
ago.
fucking premiere.
He's like, yeah, you go build a cabin over in the fucking thing.
This is near the hot springs.
I thought it was really funny. He's like, hang up your blaster, but then immediately take it down, tie it on your hip, and then be my sheriff, please.
Be my sheriff. So Mando is flying him around and you know, distracting Gorian's ship when Bo-Katan zooms by and drops the Mandos and they jetpack down. It's
Paramandos.
All supremely cool. Yeah. So the Mandalorians,
they're having a blast. By the way.
They drop in this time of their lives. They're blasting pirates. They're kicking ass and having fun. Mandos is pulling the fighters away, and Bo-Katan starts shooting up Gorian's ship and like takes out an engine or two. The fighters get called back to deal with Bo-Katan because Gorian realizes where the real threat is. In the city streets, the Mandalorians are moving up, but they eventually get surrounded. And then who should appear but fucking Paz Vizsla with his giant fucking gun just blasting everyone.
Paz Vizsla, who has walked up to a Star Destroyer and ripped off a turbo laser and is just carrying it around to kill people.
Pretty much, yeah. So
he climbed a mountain with that motherfucker in the last episode.
He shoots the fuck out of everything until the pirates set up a big gun of their own on the railing of Grief Karga's balcony and start blasting the Mandalorians. And like, not even Paz Vizsla can deal with that. So up in the sky, Bo-Katan is like zooming around trying to deal with the fighters, and she's like, I could use some help here. And Mando's like, I got you, and blows them all up. Back on the ground, who should be coming into fucking Grief Karga's office but the armorer with her hammer and tongs? And like, when I saw this, I was like, I don't even care how she got there. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
And she just beats the shit out of the pirates.
Yeah. It's like anytime we get to see that woman beat people with a hammer. I'm sure there's a whole, by the way, there has to be a whole like fandom for the armor beating things up. If you're out there,
more power to you. So the armor just beats the shit out of them, and the Mandalorians keep going, chasing the pirates out of town and like out the gate, and the pirates are running out, and then all the townspeople are there with their guns, and they turn around, and there's the Mandalorians, and the pirates are like, well, shit. And they just put down their guns and like, okay, you win.
It's a pretty good indication for how things will eventually go as well. Remember that they're just pirates, and
like these aren't trained soldiers or anything.
So like at one point they're like, this is not worth it. I guess I'll quit.
Speaking of which, Vane, the asshole from the premiere, who's the last surviving fighter pilot, and is like, you know what, boss, we had a good run, but I'm out of here. Have a good life, which is going to be very short.
Let me know how your little battle goes. Bye.
Gorian Shard's people on the bridge are like, look, we have one engine left. We need to get the fuck out of here right now. Gorian's like, fuck that. Tell all the gunners to shoot the city, blow up all the people. If I'm going to die, I'm taking him with me. Mando and Bo-Katan are like, shit, he's blowing up literally everything. We got to kill him. And they blow up his last engine, and he crashes and explodes in a huge fireball, and all his people die. So at the victory party, Grief Karga is like, yes, we're alive thanks to the Mandalorians. Everyone give a big round of applause to our helmeted saviors. From now on, they get all the land from like there to like over there. And that's all theirs. Permanently, forever.
Thanks. Our gift to you.
So like, well, like Bo-Katan is standing there listening to all this, and like Paz Vizsla walks up and taps her on the shoulders, like, Armorer wants to talk to you.
Which when he says this, I'm like, oh, because like there's been like they've been building this sense of friction between Mando, Bo-Katan, and the Armorer, because the Armorer is a sycophant.
A fanatic, I think would be more accurate.
And like we've had conversations about what Bo-Katan's like if she has ulterior motives. Mando just seems to be happy to be not an apostate anymore, and so
he just wants to live his life.
So like when I was like, oh shit, like is she gonna murder fucking Bo-Katan? So she's gonna hit her in the head with a hammer.
So Paz fucking leads Bo-Katan down into the sewers where the old Mandalorian covert from season 1 was. And like he leads her back to Armorer, who's looking at the old forge, and Paz Vizsla fucks off. Armorer is like, there's this dinky little forge, doesn't really compare to the great forge on Mandalore. And Bo-Katan's like, I know, I saw it. It was really cool. Armorer is like, take your helmet off. Bo-Katan's like, is this a weird sex thing? is this what you people do when the birds and the bees? Armor's like, will you stop being weird for 1 minute? Just take your fucking helmet off. It's fine.
I like how she's like, I'm so confused. I'm supposed to have the helmet on.
First, I'm not supposed to take the helmet off. Now you're telling me to take it off. Yeah. Like, what the fuck? I'm getting mixed messages here. So Bo-Katan takes her helmet off. Armor is like, our people have wandered far from the way, and we need to fucking get back on it. Meaning every single Mandalorian. We need to get them all back together, put them back on the way so that we can do whatever the fuck it is we're supposed to do. She was taught that the mythosaur only existed in legends, but then Bo-Katan actually fucking saw it.
Yeah.
Like, that is clearly the sign of a new age. And since Bo-Katan has lived both sides of Mandalorian culture, like, she's the only one who can lead them into this new age.
Yeah.
And unite them all. So outside, Armor and Bo-Katan start walking through the Mandalorian.
A couple of thoughts about this, by the way. Mm-hmm. The Armor apparently has a very low bar for accepting evidence.
She's a fanatic.
I totally get
shaman.
it. I totally get it. I'm just pointing it out. Like, I could walk up to her and say, hey, I saw a fucking mythosaur.
She does not work on the same standards that you do, Mr. Entirely rational. God does not exist. Show me the proof.
Let me also tell you, I think I'd rather believe in a mythosaur, but I was really shocked by this because I thought a lot of the conflicts from the story to come was going to be between her religious views and her religious customs against Bo-Katan wanting to take everyone over. I did not expect this to happen.
Yeah.
And so now it makes me start thinking, like, is the Armor more rational than I thought she was? Obviously, her standard for evidence is really low, but she must really believe what she believes if she's able to put that aside to unite everybody. And because remember, this whole thing started out with, in Book of Boba Fett, have you taken your helmet off? Oh yeah, whoops. Well, fuck you. You're not a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
To, I guess we're all Mandalorians. It's like for a character, it's a very quick character development, which is fine. But I'm just really surprised that she kind of went the whole way with it.
I think we're missing some information about the significance of the mythosaur.
Yeah.
Because we know it's important to Mandalorian culture, but we don't know what it means exactly and what it signifies to them.
Yeah, which is really funny because when they had that conversation in the last episode where she's like, I saw a mythosaur, and she was like, the Armor is like, everyone sees the mythosaur. Sure. I didn't think that she believed her, and then I guess maybe she did, she thought about it for a little bit and
maybe huffed some of the living water fumes.
Yeah,
and
why would she lie?
So anyway, Armor and Bo-Katan are walking through the cloud of Mandalorians. Fucking Bo-Katan still has her helmet off, and she's looking a little apprehensive. Because she's not sure how all the rest of them are going to take this.
She's like, she told me to do it, guys.
Wasn't my idea. Armor is like, okay, look, Bo-Katan is going to fucking go find all the other Mandalorians in the galaxy and bring them here. Paz Vizsla is like, not looking like that. She's not.
Not with that face.
Armor says, no, it's fine. She's walked both worlds. She knows more about being Mandalorian than anybody. Also, because I'm in charge, so shut your fucking mouth. Yeah. We're going to retake Mandalore. But first we're going to start here. And build up what we got. Which,
by the way, do you think Paz Vizsla's son is that the Armorer's son? And if so, I want you just for a moment to imagine what that must have been like.
Because she's kind of tiny and Paz Vizsla is huge.
And I don't see him parting ways with his turbo laser ever. He's like, we can fuck, but I'm holding on to this.
Anyway, last scene in space, Carson Teva is in his X-wing and he's looking at the remains of this old Imperial Lambda shuttle.
Oh, this whole segment, by the way, the way that it's shot and the music has this insanely foreboding, I really thought they were about to kill this character or something.
Yeah. Have you ever played Dead Space or seen any of it?
I've seen some of it. Yeah.
It kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah,
just in terms of the general ambiance.
Right. Yeah. Everything's dark and he's got the flashlight.
Or the first part of Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there's this deep space shuttles shot up and drifting. He calls it in, and the guy on the other line is like, yeah, there was a record of a missing ship in the area, but all the details are classified. That's really fucking weird. So Trevor's like, all right, droid, fucking send out part of your head to go look at it.
I didn't realize that little thing came off.
Yeah. Droids can
That's
do
cool,
that, I guess.
yeah.
So the droid sends in his probe, and while he is like, all right, I got the license plates off this shuttle. Let me just run them to see what's up.
It's like a little Bluetooth thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The guy's like, yeah, so that's a New Republic prison transport. You know, that's really weird. The transit time matches the ship moving Moff Gideon.
Uh-oh.
So there's no survivors. Like the only corpses inside are the flight crew, and Moff Gideon is nowhere to be found. Most intriguingly, the droid finds a little shard of metal in the wall that happens to be Beskar.
A Beskar alloy.
Yes. So everyone's like, did the Mandalorians spring Moff Gideon?
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, this whole thing is a little weird. They made a point to say that it's Beskar alloy, which is different than what we're used to with the Mandalorians who use pure Beskar, I think ordinarily to make their stuff, right? Okay. And a couple of things could be happening here. One of them is that there's another sect of Mandalorians who swore loyalty to Moff Gideon because of the Darksaber.
I think that is the least likely.
Okay.
I think the more likely is that Gideon still has some people loyal to him, like Elia Kane, in positions to do something about him being in prison.
And they just have their own Mandalorians or like Beskar stuff.
I think they're framing the Mandalorians.
Oh, I have not seen that as a theory. That's interesting. I just think like everything we know about the Mandalorians in lore is that they're constantly fighting each other. Mm-hmm. So it wouldn't surprise me if like there's another sect out there and it's Mandos versus Mandos.
Sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
The thing that would complicate that is that if they were following Moff Gideon because of the Darksaber, he lost the Darksaber. So like, wouldn't they be like, fuck off?
Do they know that he lost the Darksaber? Because like,
well, I suppose when they rescue him, they're like, wait, where's your Darksaber?
Because like, what, there were 5-6 people on the ship who know that Moff Gideon got his ass kicked and know who has the Darksaber.
What actually happened? Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't think any of them go out of the way to advertise it.
I think this is one of those things where, like, you know, throughout this season, things have been. Everything's been real easy, and like we've just been doing kind of side quests and stuff, and this is like something big's about to happen, and I'm thrilled because Moff Gideon is a great fucking character.
Yes,
and he's
Giancarlo Esposito, fantastic actor.
So I'm really excited to see what happens there. The other thing too, I was thinking about while watching this was, why did we set up this IG-11 stuff? If we were just going to dump IG-11 for R5 for the Mandalore mission. So I'm wondering if that ends up, because Babu Frick makes a couple of like little cameos in this episode.
Not Babu Frick, but yes.
One of them was.
Was it?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah. Yeah, Babu Frick, he was one of the guys in the first episode.
Okay.
There. Yeah. So like, I wonder if that ends up becoming a thing. It's, it's hard to tell. So real quick, Jimmy says this whole helmet thing makes no sense in Clone Wars and Rebels. We see several Mandos take their helmets off.
Different sect of Mandalorian. Yeah. They like Mandos are like the hardcore Old Testament, follow all the rules.
Yeah, the children of the Watch.
Yeah.
It's like,
whereas like the Mandalorians you see in Clone Wars and whatnot are the more casual,
regular ass Mandalorians. Yeah, it's like having your town's First Baptist Church and then the Westboro Baptist Church. They're just different, different
they're
things.
both Baptist churches. They just have
one of them is way
standards.
more crazy.
Yes.
Yeah. Steven says Moff has troopers with Beskar. I mean, that could totally happen.
No.
And this could also tie into the Dark Trooper thing somehow, maybe.
Yeah.
It depends. It's hard to. There's got to be something out there for him to return to, and it's got to be Thrawn. Like, it's the only guy I can think of right now that's out doing things. Assuming that he survives his thing with Ezra.
Thrawn, potentially, what's his name? Snoke, maybe?
All of it's going to Snoke anyway. Like, it's all going to get there eventually anyway. But I think that Thrawn is probably the guy that is trying to make that happen. In Legends, Thrawn was the guy that was trying to clone a Dark Jedi to control the Empire and shit. So it would make sense if they wanted to rhyme with that he could be the guy that's trying to make the whole Snoke thing happen. So Brandon says Dark Troopers are made with, I thought that said plastic. It's like, I don't think they are. Dark Troopers are made with, it's way too far away.
Beskar?
Similar but different. Well, yeah, and then they get chopped to pieces by Luke. So maybe he's like, what wouldn't get chopped to pieces by Luke? Probably Beskar. So talk about tech. We're about to get into our Bad Batch spoilers, actually. So just 1 minute. April, I think her name was. Let me hold on. We read your comments, by the way, on Facebook. So on days when stuff releases, go check out our spoiler thread on Facebook or Discord. Link in the description. Crystal says, this episode was awesome. The one tune I saw, I'm hoping that this means Bo-Katan will be getting Casca and Axe back. The Bad Batch was also amazing. The ending was really good. I think I would be so fucking salty if I was Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves and Axe shows up and like, hey, boss. They'd be like, get the fuck out.
I think it'd be even saltier if they showed up and then immediately swore allegiance to Din Djarin.
Yeah,
because he has the dark saber and she doesn't.
That'd be very consistent. So yeah, there's Mandalorian. We're going to talk about in our remaining 15 minutes here.